Yes. All right. Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to get some smart cookies training under everyone's belt. It's simple tonight, two pieces. We're going to do cupboard training, and then also we'll do some service unit training. Of course, let's start at the very beginning, logging into abcsmartcookies.com. You can see from this URL, there's a lot that you can see and do before you even log in. So at the top left corner, there is a resource tab. That is a great place to go when you are looking for like an allergen guide, or you need information about cookies at a booth. Maybe somebody needs to know about ingredients, something like that. The cookies tab is a lineup. You get to know each cookie a lot more in depth. Safety and training, there's some tips and how-tos there. And then the help tab is huge. That is where you go when you have smart cookies questions. You can email us, you can call us. It is a 24/7 help desk through the whole cookie season. So please feel free to reach out to the helps. Phone number and email if you run into any questions. So for me, I bookmarked my URL, and I highly encourage you to do so too. It's a lot easier. I have my username and memorized, my email and my password also saved, so it's very quick to get into the system, during the very busy cookie sale. I also want to note, if you accidentally opt out to any of our emails, please do not reach out to the help desk. That help desk is only for smart cookies assistance. If you accidentally opt out of our emails, it is a two-step opt-out process, but if you do, you'll have to notify the council, who Kim will notify me, and I have to submit an IT ticket to get you reinstated and off that do not email list. You definitely want to receive emails through the season from Smart Cookies, because that's how you'll approve like girl delivery orders and things like that. So, and all of the communication out of Smart Cookies. All right, so one of the really cool features with Smart Cookies is you do not have to log in and out when you want to mimic a user or go see a different user's screen. This is a huge win versus your old system. So at the top left corner of your platform, there's a little person icon. After you log in, you go up there and you click on that, and the drop down will appear. You can hit mimic a user when you want to maybe help a troop leader out, or you want to help a girl out. You'll mimic their account so that you can have a full view and all of the access to the functions, like putting an order in or something like that. So the mimic feature is a fantastic tip I wanted to start off with. So in order to mimic a user, you will be in the user management section of Smart Cookies. All you have to do is click on the row of the person you would like to mimic, and then at the bottom left of your screen, you hit mimic a user. You can tell that you are mimicking somebody by looking in the top left. It literally says mimicking and then the name and whomever you are mimicking. And then when you want to end your mimic session, you actually go to the top left again and just click end mimic session. So very simple and easy to move through the dashboard in different levels of users. Any questions about the mimic feature or logging in? I assume you all are logged in and you're ready to go in the platform. Okay, so let me switch. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So let's switch gears a little bit and let's actually start talking about cupboard management. There are many features that I'm going to show you tonight The dashboard is what we also call that like the home screen. So as soon as you log in, boom, you land on that blue dashboard. On there, you'll see important dates, tasks, messages, and an inventory recap. When you go into cupboard information, that's where you update your cupboard address or your hours. You set your dates that you're open and that people can place orders or pick up orders. From your manage orders section, that's where you can look at planned orders, make transfers, and even enter in some damages if it's very unlikely, but if you happen to have a damaged package or two, it's all within the manage orders section. And then restocking your cupboard, that's something that I need to connect more with Kim on, because that is a council preference. So more to come on the actual process of restocking your cupboard. So for the dashboard, we log into abcsmartcookies.com. You're going to see right in the middle the last time your dashboard was updated. Sometimes the system can be a couple minutes behind, so I like to encourage people to hit those rotating arrows to refresh your dashboard, especially if you're having a heavy user day and you're doing a lot of orders or processing orders. Just to keep your data up to date, just go ahead and refresh when you're on your dashboard. Navigate to My Cupboard and on your home row, and then open up your cupboard info. From the second half of your home screen, if you scroll down, that's where you're going to see those action items that's on the calendar. If you have something important on that date or a task on that date, the date will actually be a bright green. So you know you need to click there to see what your important task is. Messages would be down below, and then there's a quick snapshot of your inventory along the bottom. You can open up sections all through Smart Cookies by making sure you notice these arrows, these down arrows that will expand out further. So like down below, you can see all of your varieties. This is a very quick snapshot of what you've sold, donated on hand, and then not this year, you don't have last season info, but next year you will. So a lot of data directly on your dashboard. So if you need to modify your information, maybe you want to change your cupboard hours, maybe you want to go in there and update a phone number, just go to My Cupboard, cupboard info, and that way you have direct access into what's visible for others when they're planning to visit your cupboard. Here are here's a snapshot of the form that's within Modify Cupboard. The only thing that's mandatory with the red star is the first name and last name. However, we really encourage you to put in your address, because every address within Smart Cookies is tied to Google Maps. So when a troop is putting in their order, a planned order to a cupboard, they will be able to see a link to actually see a Google map of where your cupboard's located if you have this all filled in. Also, if you notice in the top row, the maximum number of cases, please make sure that this is accurate, the number of cases that your cupboard can hold upon, with initial deliveries. Let me pause for a second. Oh, all right. So let me go to the next screen. Here is at these screenshots. This is at the bottom of the modify page. This is where you control the types of orders that come into the cupboard. So for planned order unit of measure, this drop down allows you to say you only can order in cases or case packages or packages. You also can limit the number of that can be in an order or you can limit the number of troops that come in per hour. These actions are really helpful to help you manage your walk-in traffic. And then associations, that's just all of the service units, so you know who's attached to your cupboard. That's all been entered by the council. That's how the council makes those assignments. So make sure you hit the update information at the bottom and you're good to go. For your cupboard hours, go back to my cupboard and go into cupboards. There's a pencil at the end of the row, and that is how you edit data in Smart Cookies. Anywhere you see the edit at the end of the row, that'll open up the field or that line so that you can make any changes and basically edit any information tied with that record. So this is what this looks like. So this will open up. This is the third step under your My Cupboards. So you've already updated your maximum number of cases that can come in, but if you want to control your hours, you actually hit the calendar button and that will expand out. You can set your open time and your end time, and that is by day. So to make sure that you don't, you note that you have to do this by day. And so we typically recommend that you only schedule about 2 weeks at a time. That way, if you don't have inventory 3 weeks from now, or if you're waiting for a shipment to come in, your cupboard hours are you're not just open all of the time. So just note that this is also where you can make changes at any time. So maybe there's an emergency and you need to close a cupboard early. You come in here and cancel out the appointments by clicking the black X at the end of the row. Troops will place a planned order by selecting the cupboard they wish to visit and the date and the time that they plan to arrive. So I wanted you to see a troop leader's view. There's the Google map that I was referencing. They're going to click on the cupboard that they want to go to. This example, there's only one date that the cupboard is open, but anyways, they would click on that and then the times would appear, and looks like the cupboard's only open from 2 to 3. So they would click that and save. Cupboard management is inventory management, I would like to say, is a big part of the role. And how you get ready for the week is pivotal. So please complete a physical inventory by Mondays at 10 a.m. Just so you know, the council has to place their restocks to me by noon. At noon is the cutoff. So getting your feedback of the inventory you have on hand by Mondays at 10 a.m. is crucial. Kim might actually back that up. We may back this up to Fridays, but she'll be in touch with you on that process and timing. Prepare a physical inventory count and compare that to your covered inventory report. That report is located in the reports section of Smart Cookies. If your inventory is balanced, you're good to go. There's nothing else needed. However, if your inventory is not balanced, make sure that you go in and approve all of your planned orders that were picked up that week. You still have to approve them. Ensure any transfers for walk-ins are entered into Smart Cookies. Get all your transfers completed. And then if you have any damages, you can enter a damaged order into Smart Cookies. So if there are any planned orders that have not been picked up, I suggest you delete those orders, and the troop leader will be notified that their order was not approved, that it was deleted, and they'll have to submit a new request for the week. It was on them. They didn't show up anyway. So this is an example of what the cupboard inventory report looks like. We've got an example from an Idaho Falls cupboard. You can see the case count by variety and total cases. So, from the standpoint of managing your orders, I suggest that you run the planned order report with signature report. There's two views. The one right before it there's no signature line, but I do find that volunteers like to be able to sign a piece of paper for accountability purposes. So run that report. Most cupboard managers find it helpful to run this report by day. When you click on this report on the left, that's what it will look like. The screenshot on the right is an example of how you start to filter in your information. So you can put in a begin date and an end date, and you can also select the view type, which I do a lot of my reports in Excel. But sometimes a report like this is, well, obviously this with a signature line is the best format is in a PDF. So you would click the view report button, and this is what it looks like. So this is an example of a copy of the troop leader's submitted planned order before it is approved by the cupboard manager. So they've put in their order, they'll get an email, excuse me, they can print out and be notified that they've submitted their planned order, but it's only in the pending pickup status. The cupboard manager has not approved it yet. So below is a copy of the cupboard manager's submitted planned orders before they've been approved. So if you go into your manage orders section and you click on the planned button, that is like a filter. So all of those names across the top there are filters. So you're going to filter for just your planned orders and hit the apply search parameters button. You can choose to view your reports in just cases, packages, or case/packages. This example is just in packages. But you, from this screen, from this section of manage orders, you hit the three dots at the end of the row to either edit an order. Maybe it's a walk-in and you're face-to-face and the troop leader says, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I need 10 more Thin Mints. You can edit the order from this screen. You can delete it if they didn't come in to pick it up, or you can approve from here. So once the cupboard manager has approved a planned order, the troop leader then receives an email saying, okay, your planned order has been approved. And the troop leader can now view the order and even do a print receipt to prove that the order was approved. So if somebody walks in with a printout, you want to make sure at the top it says it's been an approved planned order. So you're only giving inventory that's been approved. So important. I do want you to know that once you have, as a cupboard manager, once a cupboard manager has approved an order, the troop leader cannot edit or delete their order. So if any changes are needed, the cupboard manager will have to edit it or delete the order. So here's a view of the manage orders after approval, right? So it's no longer gives you the option to approve. That's already happened. Your options now are either to edit or delete. So if you edit the order, you can print a copy of the receipt from there. It is the print button is located at the bottom of the page, and the receipt is the same exact thing as if the troop leader printed their version out and brought it in. There is no difference. So they both say approved, and they are a printout with a signature line if you'd like to do that. So for approving orders, you navigate to orders on the dashboard and select manage orders from the drop-down. You can check planned orders along that filter row where I've got kind of towards the bottom, I've got planned checked, and then hit the apply search parameters. It's optional if you don't want to approve orders that are too far in advance. You can search maybe just from Monday to Saturday of this week or something like that to approve the dates for the week. An emailed order receipt will be sent to the troop leader. This is an example of the email that they will receive on the left there. So I do want everyone to note that an email that comes from Smart Cookies actually comes from noreply@smartcookies.com. That's who it's from. So contact the help desk if a volunteer accidentally unsubscribes from an email. The actual help desk for this would be Kim would have to let me know when somebody needs to be corrected and subscribed back into receiving those emails. So I'm going to pause before I talk about entering in planned orders and see if we've got any questions.
There's a couple questions for you in the chat, Faith.
Okay.
First question, and I actually didn't know the answer to this one, and you may not either, but in case you do you know if our service unit cookie managers and cupboard managers should have received their login information to Smart Cookies at this time?
Yes. So Kim and Teresa, we're putting all of those in the system. And similarly, the emails, the registration links came from noreply@abc. And so I suggest that you check your junk folder if you didn't get one in your regular inbox. We can resend those out. And so we can take names of anybody we might need to resend their registration link to.
And so Stephanie, I'll make note as well for us to kind of look into yours and follow up with that too, to see if we need to resend. And then our next question came in was, how does a planned order get marked as picked up? Is it done from the cupboard side or the troop side?
It is the cupboard manager's responsibility. They are going to go in to manage orders, and those will be approved once they have been picked up.
Perfect. That's all we have in the chat at this time.
Okay, so let's talk about entering planned orders. Of course, typically troops will place their orders each week to indicate that they want to come and pick up from the cupboard. But lead times, from order placement to pickup is determined, by council, and things might get crisscrossed. Well, cupboard managers also may be asked to enter a planned order for a troop. And so I want you to be able to see what that looks like. So let me just show you from the orders tab. You just click on planned orders. And from here, you can filter for the troop number. You can search by name, or you can search by troop number. Go ahead and you would press enter, and you can quickly just say, okay, select a date and time. Most likely they'll be in person, but still go through the process of selecting date and time, and then entering in the varieties, the cases or packages by variety. So if you have a walk-in order, go ahead and navigate to orders on the dashboard and select transfer order from the drop-down. There will be many different types of options. The type of transfers it is a drop-down feature on the top left. Go ahead and select cupboard to troop transfer. Enter the quantities and click save at the bottom. You can also put in some order notes. Maybe you want to put in there that this was a walk-in by the name and troop number or whatever. And then you just, you save the entry, and you can also print a receipt from here, which is nice. So here is an example of that transfer order. You can call it a receipt, transfer order receipt. So on here, you can see the cupboard name, who it went to, the service unit and troop number. Contact information will populate if we have it. You can even see the financial responsibility at the bottom of the page and get a signature on there if you'd like. I know this day and age, a lot of people will sign and then take a picture with their phone. So, all of these tools are optional, but just wanted you to be aware that they're out there for you. Now, if you have a damaged package or if you have a damaged case, we do encourage you to open the case and try to only damage out a bad package. That way you're not wasting all the other good packages inside of a case. So if a troop brings in damaged cookies, you may replace the damages with the exact same type of cookie. If you do that, there is no transfer entry required for the troop. Make a good case, and then keep track of damages for your cupboard. The council will collect your damage totals at the end of the season. We do a refund to the council for those damaged packages. So entering in a damaged order is very quick and simple by going into your orders tab. We do ask for that tracking to be within Smart Cookies. We do pull a report at the end of the season for the whole council-wide roll-up. So please track your damages in Smart Cookies. Now, for cupboard planned orders. So I encouraged that you download the cupboard demand detail report for your cupboard. This report shows your starting inventory, what it would take to fill your orders, and then your remaining inventory after all of those orders are filled. So it is important that you let Kim know if you need to restock your cupboard and if you cannot fill your troop planned orders. This is a great, this report does the math for you, what you have on hand, if you've been doing a good job managing your inventory in Smart Cookies, all of the demand against the cupboard, and then your ending inventory. It's a great report. Speaking of reports, we have a lot in there for you. If you go to the reports tab, of course, you only have current information for this season. The report categories are kind of what we call the main sections of the reporting. And then the actual reports are to the right of that. You can filter down your reports by just clicking on one of the report categories. It'll filter down because there's quite a few options in there. If you find that you use a report often, you can click on it in the reports box and then add it to your favorites. You can have up to 10 favorites in the box. You can just hit the red X when you want to take them out. And there's also a popular report box. So as the season goes on, so right now you'll see all, a bunch of initial order reports and things like that in there. But, towards the end of the season, you'll start to see recognition reports being within that popular section. Reports can be previewed, so you don't actually have to open up every report to see it first. If you just hover your cursor over the preview it word there, it will open up and you can see a preview of what that report has. You can also get a naming or a description of the report by hovering over report info. We have a lot of filters that you can put into place once you have found the report that you want to use. You can typically drill down by, maybe you just want to know something about a specific troop, or you want to only know case counts about something. All of those drop down arrows to the very far right are filters. I highly suggest that you feel free to use those and drill down to get the data that you need. Here are a recommended list of covered reports. For order reports, your activity summary, that's frequently used. Your planned order report, we talked about that. Total sales summary, that seems to be almost the most used report for all volunteer levels. Your transfers, that's important as you make sure that you're getting all of your inventory transferred to the troops when they've picked it up, and then covered inventory. So I already talked about the help desk, but I guess this is another reminder. The help button is also great. You can all of these links are hyperlinked. You can very quickly send us an email if you need some help. So that is the cupboard overview. I'll stop here and see if there's any questions or anything I can show you right now.
So the only question that we had in the chat was again linked to the having access to Smart Cookie.
Oh, okay.
And so Bethany was saying about access to because it may be that perhaps folks only have access to the training environment currently.
Yep.
And so it's just seeing the couple questions that have come in. I think that perhaps we haven't added folks into the
main site. Yeah, that's quite
to the main
possible.
site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So folks, if you're on the call here and you haven't gotten that login information yet, I do think we probably were planning to get that out this week, but just weren't able to due to staff illnesses. So you can expect to see that coming. I would like to say next week, hopefully to get you guys all in there into the real production site.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, the next section now is about service units. And so if you are not a service unit leader, please don't feel obligated to stay with us, but we've got a few slides here just to touch on. So again, I mean, everybody's logging into abcsmartcookies.com. Navigate all the way to the right to my service unit on the home row and select service unit info. This is the best place to start. This is where you make sure to complete required fields, which I think Kim and Teresa are adding when they add service unit level users in. But make sure you check that information and make sure it's all up to date. I encourage you also to navigate to my service unit and then down to user management. This is how you add, edit, or delete users. This is all based on council permissions for these actions. And so there may be times that this might not be available as certain parts of the sale are taking place, or there's certain times that this is turned on or turned off. So user management is a council level permission. And so if you need to edit an account, you don't have access at that time, please escalate to the council. Also, I encourage the service unit leaders to check their cupboards. Make sure that troops and girls and everybody under your umbrella have been uploaded. You can set tasks on calendars. So if you want to get a message out to maybe all of your troops, you can send them an email directly from Smart Cookies, which is where you'll have the most up-to-date contact information for anybody. So don't try to, recreate email lists and, oh my gosh, is this the newest one? The data in Smart Cookies will always be the most recent data. You can also send messages, check jobs that you may have submitted, but my service unit section is where you'll go for a lot of your key information. Part of the service unit role is to make sure that all of your troops are getting their initial orders in on time. On your dashboard, right from your main page, there's an action items block. And the first link in there, it is a link. It's troops with no initial order. I encourage you to run this report a couple of days before all initial orders are due. That way you can reach out and maybe send a message or call those troop leaders that don't have an order, check in on them, make sure they're understanding how to submit an order. Do they have access to Smart Cookies? Things like that. So that's a good tip here. For service unit to submit orders, this is a great way to help your other leaders who, again, maybe they're stuck and can't understand how to submit an order. You can do that for them. You can submit orders from your manage orders section. You can change status from saved, which would say S. So this is a saved status. You can approve orders, submit the order, delete or edit. So your manage order screen is almost like your hub, your inventory, your activity section. I encourage you to go here often to make sure your sales are moving along good. I believe that service unit leaders will have the ability to manage booths. So you do have a booth tab along your home row. From there, you can see if there are booths that are perhaps not scheduled yet, but maybe you have a brand new troop leader and they don't know how to schedule a booth. You can help them by seeing what might be available in their area. You can add booths into the system by hitting the Create Booth button on the right. And you can also export a list of all of your booths by hitting the Export button in the bottom right. I think we've got a form here that shows you how to create a booth. You fill in your all of your fields here. Once you enter in the address, that Google Maps will appear in that gray box. It's optional to add location contact, but we like to strongly encourage that information goes in at the time, store manager, something like that. The council contact will actually auto-populate. So I think I was mimicking Brittany when I went in and grabbed the screen grab. But you can put all of your information in here, such as if it's a reservation only for a service unit or only for a troop. You can set the status available for lottery, things like that. So this is just a screenshot of getting your booth set up. After you've set up your booth, you do need to add in appointment times. So you hit the Create Appointment Times, and it's very user-friendly as you put in your start and end times for that booth. Here is an example of the actual times that the booth may be available. So it's a month, day, and even time of day and range. If you are going to have multiple people using the same booth, you can set ranges. So for this appointment, the range is 120 minutes. So no troop can be there or have that reservation for more than 2 hours until it's available for somebody else to schedule it. All right, so service unit leaders can also transfer cookies from troop to girl by going to orders, transfer order. I do want to note that when you are putting in the initial order, they will all be will round up to full case increments, and anything that is requested but not a full case will round up, and the extras will go into what's called booth packages. And so that's the inventory that will be on hand for the first booth assignment. So you can also just plan for booth inventory by completing the fields there by variety. It's case/packages. So that is an option. And for your service unit, you can go into finances, financial transactions, to see troop transactions and girl transactions that roll up under your service unit. So those are two separate tabs. Sometimes it's hard to see the difference between the troop transaction and girl transaction buttons, but they are two different tabs. And the filters will populate as you move through those two tabs. The troop balance summary report is very important, and we've got a link directly on that page so that you can download balance summaries. And if you need to have a discussion with the troop leader or help them understand their finances, that link is there for you. You can edit or delete transactions by hitting the icons at the end of the row. It's the same icons you'll see throughout the platform. Service unit reports. This is really similar to what I already showed you for cupboards. But at the service unit level, you will have access to additional reports that the permissions may not be set for if you're a troop leader, for example. So within Smart Cookies, the council does manage the user access and the user report hierarchy. So let me stop there and see if there are any service unit level questions.
So we do have a question for you, Faith. Someone's wondering how to best deal with damaged packages as the service unit cookie manager, and specifically, do those get entered by the service unit cookie manager into Smart Cookie, or do
Yes.
they deliver them to the cupboard for the cupboard to do that?
Damaged packages should be returned to the cupboard, and the cupboard manager puts the damage reports, the damage package count into Smart Cookies. So that is a cupboard manager's role, and they can exchange out the same variety without having to do a transfer, or they transfer a new variety. But if the other wasn't available, they have to do a transfer if it's a different variety.
We've got another question that just came in, and then we have another one in the chat as well. So this question is, what would we enter in the girl transactions payment made to the troop? And if that, I'm not sure if I understand the question. We may ask Bethany on mute unless you understood the question there.
I don't. So Bethany, I don't mind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's, I think this is a good spot to stop the recording, and then we can,
Okay.
I'm going to stop sharing